All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Kickboxer 4, The Aggressor, 1994. I'm giving this 5 out of 5 stars. This is by far the best of this crappy series. Way better than Kickboxer 2. And by far, it's my favorite out of this crappy series. Albert Pyun also did Kickboxer 2. I don't remember the full title of it, but this is the best version. They even have Van Damme's personal trainer from Belgium with heavy makeup playing Tong Po. He looks much shorter, and he gets the crap beat out of him at the end of the movie. He just kind of whimpers off like, bow down before the Sasha Mitchell, you whimpering Tom Po. He becomes a drug dealer, and he's got so much makeup on his face. You can see the makeup melting off his face. It's got so much nudity, this one. It even has lesbian foo. And it almost goes so far as full frontal, but the other lesbian was blocking the view. So it was kind of a little disappointing in that regard, but maybe they had to cut that part out. I'm not sure. There's a double feature DVD, Kickboxer 3, The Art of War, and Sasha Mitchell, Kickboxer 4, The Aggressor. There's a double feature DVD on Wikipedia. It's the DVD cover of a double feature with Kickboxer 3, The Art of War. Let's see, production companies, Kings Road Entertainment, Weatherly Productions, distributed by Live Entertainment, Moonshine Live Entertainment in the U.S. Outside the U.S., it was distributed by Moonshine Entertainment, release date March 3rd, 1994. Running time, perfect 90 minutes. We like our movies 90 minutes. Country, United States, language, English. And even the Tong Po on the Kickboxer 4 movie poster / DVD cover shows the previous guy who did Tong Po is much taller, doesn't wear any makeup, and is not Jean-Claude Van Damme's personal trainer. So this movie is definitely so bad that it's good type of kickboxing movie. I would say just skip the series and watch this one. No need to watch 1 through 3. Although 7 is decent. So I'll say this one, 4 and 7 are the best ones. I stand corrected. It is not a crappy series. 2 out of the 6 movies that I've seen so far are worth watching. And both of them are so bad that they're good type movies. Kickboxer 4, stylized on screen as Kickboxer 4, The Aggressor, is a 1994 U.S. direct-to-video martial arts film directed by Albert Pyun. We like direct-to-video or straight-to-video. The film is the fourth entry in the Kickboxer film series. This was the last film to star Sasha Mitchell, who reprises his role as David Sloan. I didn't recognize his girlfriend in this one. Where does his girlfriend come from? I don't know. Was she in Brazil? I can't recognize her. And I don't remember her from Kickboxer 3. Kamel Krifia as Tong the Tiger Po. Deborah Mancy. Who is Deborah Mancy? Yeah, she makes her first appearance in Kickboxer 4. She was not in Kickboxer 3. So why did they get married? And what is the tie with the first 3 movies? What is her relationship to anything? The film opens with a recap of earlier events in the series as David Sloan writes a letter to his wife, Vicky. She just comes out of nowhere and they're married and he's in jail. A lot of lack of continuity problems with this one, not the least being Tong Po, played by a different actor, Jean-Claude Van Damme, personal trainer with tons of makeup. And he speaks for the first time and he sounds like Jean-Claude Van Damme with a thick accent, Belgian accent. I don't know why they give this guy lines. I mean, Tong Po never spoke in the first 3 movies, and all of a sudden he's talking like this weird accent. He's wearing tons of makeup. This is great stuff. After being framed for murder by Tong Po, David has spent the last 2 years in prison, while his wife has become the sexual captive of his old nemesis, who has since become one of the most powerful drug lords in Mexico. And so Tong Po is now running a drug lord business in Mexico. This is getting better by the minute. After receiving explicit photos from Po of his kidnapped wife, David takes his frustrations out on a fellow prisoner before meeting with the DEA official, Casey Ford, who briefs David about their situation. He reveals that the agency has been unable to apprehend Po by their own means, and that Po intends to host a martial arts tournament at his private compound, with the winner earning a match against Po and a $1 million cash prize. Yes, I guess if you work for the DEA, there's something called national sovereignty. You can't just go into Mexico and arrest people. During the history between them, Casey offers to release David if he will enter the tournament and eliminate Po himself. All right. So we've got David working undercover for the DEA to kill Po in a death match, I guess. David readily accepts, using the alias Jack Jones to conceal his identity. That doesn't last long, although Tong Po is easily distracted by his fellow DEA agent. And we don't even know that he's got a DEA agent friend until the end of the movie. His first stop is a street fight where he easily dispatches two fighters, earning him a necessary invitation from a man named Brubaker, who scouts fighters, and Brubaker invites them to pose tournament. So there's a lot of nice kickboxing fights, albeit short kickboxing fights, but a lot of decent ones. This movie has a lot more action in it and a lot more nudity too. Tong Po almost sounds like Jean-Claude Van Damme in a way. At first I thought he was Hispanic or something, but he's got a thick Belgian accent. It's hard to put your finger on because you don't come across too many people from Belgium nowadays. I agree. Kickboxer 4 is one of the best. Great fight scenes, New Mexico, location, everything. I love final fight, David Sloan versus Tong Po on top of tables and all the places to fight on. Yeah, that final fight scene, Tong Po got his arse kicked and then he went whimpering off like a crying dog. Kickboxer 4 has the lowest budget of all the Kickboxer movies. Guess what the budget was? I don't know. It doesn't say on Wikipedia, and I haven't gotten to IMDb yet, but I'm guessing $500,000. It's amazing you can do with a low budget. And an Albert Pyun at the director. So you're telling me that Albert Pyun spent less money on 4 than he did on 2, and he came out with a superior product? On the way to the border, David, Karate Man's in the chat room, by the way. He finally showed his face after I had 3 people in the chat room last night, not talking about Risen, but talking about, well, Adrian was talking about Risen, but the other 2 dudes were talking about Logan's Run, I guess. I don't know. On the way to the border, David enters a roadside bar and confronts a group of thugs harassing a young woman named Megan Lawrence. We like Megan Lawrence in this one. She's a feisty little blondie. And she doesn't have much talent, and she's super short, but she's got her sports bra, and she's got a mean attitude. David defeats them with ease, and he saves the woman who is ungrateful for his help, and she reveals that she is entering the tournament as well. David, there's a lot of women in this one. You have a male versus female fights, which is kind of unfair. It's like transgender versus female almost, but even worse. David arrives at the compound and is greeted by Darcy Cove, one of the Poe's many female sex slaves, who shows off her rather large C-cup breasts with big pink nipples, who tells him that he must compete in the qualifying matches. Oh, by the way, here are my large pink nipples. David witnesses Thomas, a brutal fighter, take out another young fighter. Then David is chosen to face Megan. Reluctant to harm the young woman despite her taunting, David passively subdues her. Yeah. Didn't require any effort at all. He also meets up with an old acquaintance named Lando Smith, a talented fighter who turns out to be his backup on the mission. But we don't discover that until later. At the party of the tournament's 7th anniversary, Bill, Poe's right-hand man, introduces Poe to the crowd. He's got a knife tattoo on his neck. and an earring, and he smokes cigarettes. He looks like a real sleazebag. David David leaves the party soon after to search for his wife, but David finds the entire compound to be heavily guarded. David goes ninja in this one. Meanwhile, Poe offers Megan a second chance to compete, but Tong Po places a bounty on her head, inciting all the other fighters to attack her at once. Megan holds her own until Tong Po attacks her, prompting Lando to intervene. After a brief standoff with Tong Po, Lando escorts Megan back to her room. So you have all this back and forth fake aggression here. And then they all just walk away for no apparent reason. That night, David searches the compound, and David manages to locate his wife, but he's unable to free her before the alarm sound. Okay, this is David going ninja. On Tong Po's orders, the guards try to apprehend him, but David escapes. The next morning, he befriends Megan, and he offers his help for the upcoming tournament that comes in handy later on because Megan doesn't know all of David's secrets for beating his opponents, all of his secret moves. And it's not the blind man trick, the blindfold trick, I should say. The tournament begins with several matches taking place. David witnesses Thomas incapacitate a female judoka fighter. No contest there. While Lando and Megan both win their respective matches. So the little blondie is starting to kick some of the guys' arses. Thanks to David's training. He's David the Sensei, David the Ninja, and David the Kickboxer, and David the DEA agent. He's wearing 4 different hats. When David is called up to fight, Lando approaches Darcy to divert Tong Po's attention away from him. That doesn't last long. David wins the fight quickly, and David escapes Tong Po's notice. I was wondering how he was going to sneak into the tournament. He's got a tattoo on his right arm, and he's got the same hairdo, the same spiky hairdo. And his dialogue sounds like he's got a 3rd grade education. So how is he going to disguise himself in this one? In an effort to gain more intelligence about David's wife, Lando enters a romance with Darcy. After she flashed her breasts to him without even barely knowing who he is, he comes back and he and he starts like doing the dry hump sexual intercourse in front of the camera. Tricky camera angles, and we can't see her breasts anymore. Lando presses her for information after he ejaculates, I guess, while offering off camera, of course, while offering to help her escape from Tong Po. Darcy provides him with the necessary intel, which he passes on to David before being caught by Bill and his guards. So Tong Po is not going to let David rescue his wife. Tong Po tortures Lando to learn why he has come to the tournament, but Tong Po is unable to get a satisfactory answer. He brings forth Darcy and he tortures her in front of Lando, forcing him to admit that he is a DEA agent. Lando pleads for Darcy's life, but Poe tortures her to death. So much for the one night stand. Your girlfriend's dead. Now what you gonna do? Meanwhile, David seeks to free his wife, but he is unable to find her since Tong Po had her moved from her original cell as a result of his previous intrusion. Tong Po goes, "This is private property. You will not trespass." Which doesn't make sense because they're all in a courtyard together. David is then captured by Po, who is surprised to see his old rival on the final day of the tournament. Tong Po declares that all fights will be to the death, and he dismisses several fighters who are unwilling to risk their lives, but shoots them all dead as they depart. Now, some of the fighters are kind of squeamish about snapping their opponent's neck, so a couple of them, including the small blondie, just leave their opponents face down, wide awake, in defiance of Tong Po. Tong Po says, "Finish it," and they just walk away. Like, take that, Tong Po. The tournament proceeds with even more fighters killed at the hands of their opponents until both Lando and David are dragged into the arena. Lando is all bloodied up. His right eye is closed. He looks like Adrian Adonis after getting beat over the head by Danny Spivey. Tong Po announces that the tournament is a memorial to his late wife, Xian, who was killed 5 years prior when the DEA invaded his home. He blames David for her death. I don't know why. And he offers a $500,000 bonus to whoever is able to defeat David. Thomas accepts the challenge, but David is able to defeat him. Tong Po calls for more challengers, and the other two remaining fighters step forward, one after the other. David proves to be more than a match for them. In frustration, Tong Po orders Megan to fight him, but she refuses, calling him a coward. Tong Po threatens to kill them all if she does not fight, but Megan asserts there was never any prize money and that Tong Po intends to kill them all regardless, her words prompting the other fighters to rally against him. As one, the men rise up to fight for their lives against Tong Po's armed guards. Why didn't Tong Po just shoot them all in the head at this point, like he did with the others who were too chicken to do the death match? The fighters seem to have a strong advantage until Tong Po himself enters the fray and he begins to subdue them. Though he fights bravely, Lando is easily bested by the Muay Thai master. In the end, only David and Tong Po are left standing. After a brutal fight, David conquers his rival once again, but Bill takes Vicky at gunpoint, giving Tong Po the opportunity to escape. Do we have a Kickboxer 5? Yes, we do. TV Guide ranked it 2 out of 5 stars and wrote, Kickboxer 4 does proud by the franchise that gave the world Jean-Claude Van Damme. Adam Arsenault of DVD Verdict called it an improvement over the third film, but still bad. We like so bad that they're good type movies on this channel. In 2012, Brian Tremy of Paste included it on their list of the 25 most awesomely bad movies on Netflix Instant. And it's also available on YouTube's for free. Cult Cinema Classics. I watched it on Tubi for no apparent reason. Either way, you're going to sit through commercials. But at least on YouTube, you can see the rolling credits. It doesn't chop off the last 2 minutes of the movie. I also posted the Dutch trailer, if you want to check that out. Kickboxer 4 has the lowest budget of all the Kickboxer movies. Guess what the budget was? 400,000, I guess 500,000. So I was only 20% off. All right. This looks like the Dutch DVD cover here. It says framed, forgotten, and furious. Sasha Mitchell, the aggressor. Sloan is back. We've got the very dumb sounding Sasha Mitchell with this dumb sounding dialogue. And it has an 18 rating, which might be from Germany, but possibly Belgium. Kickboxer, the Aggressor, 1994, rated R, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Gets a low 4 out of 10 on IMDb, 3,900 ratings. So it's not obscure, but it is somewhat unpopular. David Sloan must travel to Mexico to save his wife from a savage drug lord who is also an old kickboxer nemesis. But he's not old necessarily because it's played by a different actor in heavy makeup who's much shorter. All right. Here's a review by Snowman McKnives on IMDb. No rating. And I can't click on it. Oh, well. Here we go. My connection is bad. Thank you, Sonic Internet. Now I can't see anything. Let's try this again. Well, I remember the first time I watched Kickboxer 4. I think this looks really cheap looking, but still a kick-ass fun sequel. The budget is well spent despite the low budget look and feel to it. I always wondered why Dennis Chan as Xiong did not return in Kickboxer 4. Maybe he didn't want to do a direct to video movie. I guess he flew back to Hong Kong at that time, appearing in movies overseas, but there is not an explanation on why he is absent. Well, I was having trouble loading the movie review on IMDb. Let's see if I can pull it up down here. So the title of the review is "The Plot's Stupid, but Who Cares?" My thoughts exactly. Okay, I'm clicking on it and nothing's happening again. Oh, well. Let's scroll down, see if we can find some more stuff on here. More like this: Kickboxer 3, The Art of War; Kickboxer 2, The Road Back; The Redemption; Kickboxer 5, which I have not seen, with Mark Dacascos; I guess he's from the Philippines. I don't know. Then Kickboxer Vengeance. Which I think is the best of the, well, is tied with Kickboxer 4 for the best of the series. Okay. Finally, it's coming up. The plot's stupid, but who cares? Many compare hardcore action films like this to porn. You get some action, you get some poorly written dialogue, you get some action, poorly written dialogue, and so on. As it is with this, but the action is great. Sasha Mitchell is surprisingly good, doing a decent impression of someone playing a leading man. But it's his high kicks we want to see, and we get them in spades. Before I go any further, you should know that this is a sort of film where the plot is put on hold for a few minutes so that the hero can fight a bar full of bikers for no apparent reason. We're going and picking a fight with another bunch of bikers in a very public display is the best course of action when trying to infiltrate a tournament anonymously. Okay, those facts are out of the way. The plot is some sort of nonsense about a tournament because apparently former Thai kickboxers can very easily set themselves up as drug kingpins with nothing better to do than organize tournaments. Tong Po is back, albeit played by a different actor, and the former Goro from Mortal Kombat lookalike has discovered the joys of speech. Unfortunately, he speaks in an annoying, whiny voice, but he is played by an impressive martial artist as compensation who soaks up damage in the final fight until he fights the hero. Once again, one of those things, but who cares? The martial arts are a very good standard for a low-budget, dodgy film with no name lead, more or less, and features some very well done, quite brutal fights. All right. So there you have the review from Snowman McKnives, very similar to my review. One of those so bad that it's good type movies, which we love on. We love this kind of film. Albert Pyun is on he's what do I want to say? He's at his peak. I can't think of a better term. He's on fire. He finally figured out how to make a low-budget kickboxing flick. Written on the floor of Tong Po's fighting ring is the Thai word da, meaning dead. When Sloan is showing the punk some moves, he suddenly goes from having no sunglasses on to having them on. The punk girl. We like the punk girl in the sports bra. She's like 5'3" or something. Tong Po is quoted as saying, "You fight or die." Meg Lawrence says, "You don't have the guts to fight him yourself." Tong Po shouts, "Kill Sloan or you all die." Megan Lawrence says, "It's all been a lie. There is no money. You saw what he did to the others. He intends to kill us." The U.S. print was cut by around 30 seconds to receive an R rating, and missed shots of a man's head being beaten against the ground. David's fights with two guards on a staircase, and most of the sexual footage and shots of the topless girls during the threesome sex scene. We do not like the U.S. print on this channel. The Artisan DVD features the R-rated print, although the UK film 2000 and Australian Hollywood DVD releases are the full version. We like those two releases. Edited from Kickboxer 1989. Soundtracks Concerto for Two Violins in D minor. BWV 1043, written by Johann Sebastian Bach, performed by Peter Adler on the flute, performed by Elaine Heltman on the oboe, and performed by Marco DeWart on guitar. Albert Pyun stuck a little bit of classical music in this one. Release date May 14, 1994 in South Korea. Country of origin United States. Language English, also known as Kick 6-O-Kep 4 Arc Pickup. I don't even know what language that is. Filming locations: Albuquerque, New Mexico, USA. Production companies: Kings Road Entertainment, Weatherly Productions. And budget estimated at $400,000. Runtime 1 hour 30 minutes. Sound mix ultra stereo. So there you have it. Darcy asked David, "Just how hard are you, Mr. Jones?" David says, "I'm hard enough." I thought that was a pun too. I love the inane dialogue in this one. Good point, Karate Man. So Karate Man came up with another excellent recommendation. Highly recommended. Check it out. Let me know what you think of Kickboxer 4 in the comments after you watch it on Cult Cinema Classics. Number 1 on my list right now is Torn Curtain. I'll try to get through that tonight. And number 2 is Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm in the Army now in 1936. I'll try to also get through that tonight. And then we've got Kickboxer 5 Redemption, 1995, number 3. And I'll try to get to that Monday. So last night I watched Risen, another excellent movie. I've seen 2 5-star movies now, back to back, 5 out of 5 stars. And what a way to start off the weekend. My checking count is very low, and I'm racking up my credit card, but I do get paid Tuesday. And hopefully I can pay one bill and then replenish my zero savings account. So this morning, due to the movie night at St. Dominic, I had to go pick up my son's vestments from the dry cleaner, and also my sport coat and tie. So I had 4 items. I paid $44. Keep racking up my credit card, and then I went to what was it? I went to Safeway on Noriega. Spent another $40 on food, groceries, and my son's sandwich for tomorrow. And then I went to the doctor for the first time in 5 years. She's telling me to get a colonoscopy, all these vaccines and stuff. I said, "Look, you can mail me the stool kit. There's no need for me to get a colonoscopy anymore." And she said, "Okay, well, we'll mail it to you." Then she forgot. Then I had to remind her about my mold problem in this house, that I'm trying to get my attorney to coordinate some medical treatment for the mold condition here. And she says, "Get a HEPA filter." And then I had to remind her to refer me to an allergist. I finally got an appointment to an allergist on May 10th, and then I had to spend another $50 on a HEPA filter on Amazon. It's supposed to arrive tonight, like anytime after 5 minutes from now. And so hopefully I can improve the air quality in this house with a HEPA filter. We'll see. So Tong Po went from Muay Thai kickboxing champion to drug lord living in New Mexico. I thought he was across the border. I think Karate Man is getting the film location confused with the actual story. And he's also a tournament organizer. He's a drug dealer / tournament organizer, and he's played by a different actor. But it kind of makes sense because Tong Po was part of the Thai triads in the original. They got him into drugs. Really? I don't remember that part. I've seen Kickboxer for 1 billion trillion times, so I remember ever seeing. Another great line David says when he street fights, the guy says, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" David says, "Can't take your girlfriend anywhere, can you?" All right. Well, Karate Man has a strong affection for Kickboxer, for the Aggressor. He's watched it 1 billion trillion times, which is like me with Jailbait or Astro Zombies. All right. Well, nice chatting with you, Karate Man. Thank you very much for the recommendation. Let me know what you think of Kickboxer for the Aggressor in the comments. I think Sasha Mitchell is even worse than than Jean-Claude Van Damme when it comes to delivering the lines. I think he sounds really stupid. Like he didn't graduate from 3rd grade or something. As a martial artist, I say he's pretty decent when they allow him to show off his high kick. But other than that, I don't know much about him. I never saw him in kickboxing action aside from films. So my top 2 are definitely Benny the Jet Urquidez and Don the Dragon Wilson. I don't know much about Sasha Mitchell. He has a black belt in Taekwondo. Oh, that's nice. What's what's Steven Seagal's specialty? Aikido? There was a photo of Sasha Mitchell and Don the Dragon Wilson at the convention. What convention? The Taekwondo convention? You lost me there. Anyways, I guess he's supposed to be a successor to Benny the Jet and Don the Dragon. I have no idea. Don't know anything about him. But I do know that he wasn't in any of the future. He was only in 2, 3, and 4. He wasn't in 5, 6, or 7. So I guess he gave up after 4. After Albert Pyun cut his budget down to $400,000, and Sasha Mitchell only got a tiny slice of that, and it was direct to video. No wonder David Chan went back to Hong Kong. Yeah, there's no money in this movie. Why would you work in this movie if you knew that if you knew that it was going to be a low budget kickboxing flick? Why would you work in this movie? Maybe that's why the Tong Po actor didn't return. Benny the Jet even trained Sasha Mitchell. That's good. That's why he's got the decent kicks. Sasha Mitchell voice sounds so different these days. Plus, he's so bulked up. He was on steroids. He still has the awesome tattoo to this day. I don't know what about awesome tattoo. I've got a couple tattoos on my back, but I don't show it off anymore. I'm too old for that, to wear my wife beater in public. All right. Well, Karate Man thinks very highly of Sasha Mitchell. I think he redeemed himself in this one. Sasha Mitchell is underrated. He should have done more action movies. He probably didn't get paid enough. I mean, you look at the budget for this movie, and the only recognizable face in this one is Sasha Mitchell. We don't even know where his wife came from. She just appeared out of nowhere. Anyway, I digress. It's been nice talking to you, Karate Man. Sasha Mitchell saved the franchise. How so? We've got a Kickboxer 5 with no sign of Sasha Mitchell. Kickboxer 6 and 7 are with Jean-Claude Van Damme, right? I don't know. And then there's supposed to be an 8. I don't think Sasha Mitchell is in the 8th one. I could be mistaken. Anyways, nice chatting with you, Karate Man. I better go and see if I can finish up Torn Curtain and Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm in the army now. Laters. Bad thing they killed off David Sloan in part 5. Oh. Trying to spoil it for me? Okay. I guess I have nothing to look forward to in part 5, even though you put it on my movie list. Oops. At least, but Mark Dakosa kick ass too? Okay. We'll see. I don't know much about Kickboxer 5. Karate Man knows everything about all the Kickboxer movies. He's a complete fanatic. I'm saying 2 out of the 6 that I've seen so far are the only decent ones. The other ones are like halfway decent or not decent at all. He plays a friend of the Sloan family. Okay. So again, we've got characters popping out of nowhere, different actors. We'll see about Kickboxer 5. I'm intrigued. I will try to check it out Monday, and then I have Good Friday off, which means that I get an early start on my movie watching binge. Mark Dakosos is great martial artist, legit kung fu champion. Oh, that's nice. Well, good. Nice chatting with you, Karate Man. Thank you for the little tidbits. We already knew that this movie was going to be low budget when we saw the estimated budget on IMDb at the bottom. You might remember him from American Samurai as the villain. I don't remember him, but I do remember American Samurai was a great movie. Was that with David Bradley and Pat Morita? I can't remember. I'm losing my memory big time. Well, nice chatting with you, Karate Man. I really do have to go. I'd love to chat for 3 hours. David Bradley has been MIA. Yes, we know that. Why don't you hunt him down, create a Facebook page that says, Wanted David Bradley. Please email, call. We want to know if you're still alive.